All right, so in this video, I'm gonna be painting this portrait of Meryl Streep only using flat, planed shapes. Okay, welcome to Paint Coach. If you're new to the channel, my name is Chris Forantero, and I help thousands of students every single month get better at oil painting through my online courses and tutorials. And one of the best things I can probably tell you about painting in general, no matter what the subject is to try and paint in shapes, try to draw in shapes. And this is a lot easier said than done. So one of the exercises that I've created is I've taken this photo of Meryl Streep from Mamma Mia. Yes, actually saw that relatively recently this past year. My wife finally showed it to me. It's one of her favorite movies and I liked it a lot actually. And so I just put this into Photoshop and I made these planes on Photoshop. A lot of people ask me like, what filter is that? Like what app? It's not an app, it's not a filter, it's Photoshop. I've actually made a whole video like in real time showing how I do it. If you want to check that out, I'll put a link to that video above right now. But kind of the point of this is not to like make like a perfect pretty painting. It's kind of made to try and retrain your mind or retrain your eye to see shapes, to look for shapes, to help your drawing, to see shapes in terms of value, in terms of color and their relationships. So it's not about being perfectly tight and crisp and drawing out every single plane. Although you could do that. Like I just got it drawn out very simply here. I like to use the Loomis head method to get it drawn out. So it's very loose. It's not 100% perfect. Just kind of blocked out some dark shapes and just got it on there. And I really want to use this to get it right. And my palette is pretty simple. I've got ivory black, ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, burnt sienna, cadmium red, yellow ochre, and titanium white. So I'm actually going to, as I was talking about drawing, I think I'm gonna just kind of fix a little angle there. But let's just get into it. So I'm gonna actually start, I'm gonna start in there's a lot of places I could start, but I'm just gonna start with the darks. So no medium, it's gonna get some burnt sienna. I'm trying to mix up that right there. It's got a little burnt sienna, yellow ochre, a little ivory black. Fun thing about this exercise is that it teaches you how to adjust. So maybe I put this in, maybe I like it right now, but once I put in other colors, maybe I don't like it so much. It gets a little bit darker up there. And don't worry so much about like, you know, like getting the exact right little plane shape, you know. The key is to get the right value. If you get the right value, you can actually paint these kind of, you know, pretty loosely and they'll work. Now, a little thing I like to do is now I see this is in shadow, the side of this nose, the plain side plane of that nose. And so is like this part of the mouth. There's a whole lot of different shapes in there, but I'm just gonna block it out as just one kind of shadow shape right now. Just kind of like that. Also notice my brush work, the direction my brush is going. It's another thing that this exercise can help you out with is just being more intentional with the brush work. Still like squinting my eyes. I see some of that up there. That's looking pretty good. And I'm just gonna branch off. I'm kind of trying to get this slightly lighter color. Now, if you struggle with skin tones, I actually have a free lesson on skin tones. I'll break down like my palette, the colors that I like to use on my palette for skin tones. I'll talk about, you know, how I can, you know, I can mix any single color from the primaries and white. Also the, like some shortcut colors I like to add, like why I got burnt sienna in there, why I got crimson in there. If you want to check that out, there's a link to it in the description of this video. So now I'm seeing this and I'm still like I'm also thinking about drawing right now, like the shape of these. So that's pretty close. Now looking and seeing like, is there any other areas that are similar to that? So you see it up here, got this dark plane there. I'm just gonna kind of block all that right there. Let me push a little red right there. It's just fun to jump around, and since it's been made into planes already, it's really a matter of like getting stuff in and kind of almost testing it out, like in that right here. You can also pick up on easily on color shifts, like the red in the cheeks here. You got some of that. And it gets pretty pink on this side plane here. Also notice with my on my palette with my colors, how like I've started and like I'll branch off, like I'll, you know, mix one color, then branch off, mix another, then another. Like here, I'm just like going lighter. I think that's important. Kind of, if it's organized on your palette, it's going to be organized in your brain. For a long time, I didn't do that. I didn't realize that. Up here it gets like a little grayer. It's amazing how many like consistents there are in portraits, no matter who you're painting. Like I didn't pick that up for the longest time. Like I would go into every single portrait, you know, not bringing any knowledge really, like no knowledge of the planes or structure of the features or anything like that. Like it was just like a completely brand new subject I've never painted before. When in reality, there's a lot of things that are constant no matter who you paint, especially in terms of the planes. These planes are in everybody, just different sizes and different degrees. Got that there. You already can see it's kind of working. And the way I went about making this, I mean, like I said, there's that video, that whole video you can watch, but I just use the Asaro head model. It's from John Asaro, that planed head you're probably seeing a lot of painters use. Highly recommend getting one of those. Actually, I promoted that. I mean, I didn't know John Asaro or anything, and I was like, hey, like I use this, and put a link to his website, and I think they sold a lot, and they I don't know if it was his wife or his assistant, like reached out to me and was like, oh, thanks. And like they sent me all their heads, which is great. And like I try to promote as much as I can because he's a really, really good, like one of the like best I've seen like in portraits and figures and artists, and really like promoting. I think everybody should get the actual head model. Like I know there's apps, going a little lighter here, and I've used the apps, and honestly, nothing really comes close to having it like actually holding it. It's definitely worth good investment. Definitely worth investing in getting. All right, let's get this bridge of the nose. So like if you know that, then you can, you know, go on Photoshop and, you know, make your own. You don't have to rely on me to do it. Get a lot of people also asking about Photoshop and whether it's, if I think it's worth it. I do. I use it a lot for painting. I'm actually thinking about making at some point in time, almost like just like a mini course on how to use Photoshop and like all the different things that I use it for, including this. Now you know, what I'm doing right now, it's nothing complex. I'm just kind of moving around shape to shape, thinking about the value of the shape. Like that one's a little darker, but then I feel like this one's a little darker. Kind of comes up here. Gets a little even more dark. Plane change here. And I'm just, I'm getting great practice here and comparing values and adjusting as I go. I want to get this middle one in. You've probably seen me do other exercises with that plane head model. Seems pretty good. That. See now, like I want to adjust. Like I think I can come back and make that still a little bit darker. I also plan, I haven't done it yet, but do want to actually paint this as like a real portrait. I'll probably do that for my Patreon. So now I'm kind of like lightening this a bit, going in, darkening this a little bit. I love doing this exercise. It's always so much fun. What do I do next? Let's do, there's like this transition right here, this kind of pink from light to dark. The nose there. That there. See, now I can start kind of working in almost variations, but actually like within the shadow shape, but I want to that right there. I might be able to push this a little bit lighter. And then there's that eyebrow that goes across that plane. You see it get a little bit lighter as it turns. It's like dark here and it gets a little bit lighter. A little darker than that. It's pretty light there. And it gets a little darker. So it makes that turn. Just kind of indicate that. Another cool thing about this is it also helps you with hair, and hair is no different. You can easily break it down into planes. I know I'm like bouncing all around here, but it's kind of moving through. A lot of times, I don't know, I like to work fast and just kind of get stuff on the, get paint on the canvas. It's funny because I feel like I'm the same way, just like in life, whenever I'm like, have like a task or doing something, I just kind of like to just do it and then adjust. Okay. What else? Where do I want to go now? It's down into this mouth. This whole area you can kind of divide into 3 sections: light, a little darker, and the darkest. So I'm just going to do that first. It's also maybe a little bit grayer around the mouth, but see, I'm just going to not even think about the lips right now. I'm going to think this it's kind of a mid-tone. I'll put this, the bottom, just kind of mark that turn of the chin. And the the light side. Once I get that, it's going to make everything a lot easier. I'm just going to get some more of the area around it. That kind of bring you right into the mouth right there. Okay. Now with let's what I want to do here. All right, I'm gonna find like a slightly lighter value within this. Right here. Now I'm noticing this, I actually do want to make a little bit lighter. A little more yellow ochre and crimson into that. Alrighty. I don't know why, but up here just caught my eye. I want to make this shape a little bit bigger. It's a pretty light shape. I have to get a slightly smaller brush for this mouth. Now, top lip, let's actually, I'm just going to get the darkest. Let's get this black, maybe a touch of red here. I feel like there's a dark shape there. And then the lip on the right side here, it's going to be in shadow. So it's going to be dark red. It's a little too dark. And then it gets a little bit lighter. It's the exact same thing we did right here. It's just with the lip. And this is one of those things that I said like is common with anybody you paint. And if you know to look for this stuff, it's going to make painting portraits a lot easier. I'm just going to go a little white. There. This is really predominant on the bottom lip here. Bottom lip's always going to be lighter than the top lip. Still just breaking it down into 3 planes here. And then the final plane. Now within that, in this middle one, a lot of times you can break that into 3 planes. The plane that's closest to the inside of the mouth is darker. And the one, the plane in the middle is the lightest. So it's like dark, then light, and then gets dark again. That just kind of helps give you some volume in the lip there. Wasn't necessarily planning on like getting into the eyes that much, but let's just see kind of how simply I can get this in, because it's not, I mean, it's fun to paint the eyes, but in terms of this exercise, it's not like the most important thing. Just getting like some black, white, little yellow ochre, kind of making a green almost. Color of the eye. It's looking kind of purpley, ivory black, crimson. Just get that. Oh, too dark. Get that. Actually, there's a lot of red in it. Man, it does look like Meryl Streep now. All right. And then this little redder here. It's not bad, not bad. Hope y'all don't find these kind of videos boring. I don't know. I personally like watching instructors paint. I've always enjoyed that. I try and keep these things not too long, because I know there does get to a point where it's like, okay, it's like I think I've seen everything that this demonstration has to offer, and I don't need to watch Chris just keep noodling with the painting forever. But there's planes and eyelids here. I'm just getting those in. A whole section of my portrait painting course on just the eyes and planes and what have you. Actually, also, I mean, this exercise in doing this kind of also shows you how simple you can paint eyes and get them to read. Kind of pulling out some subtler shapes here. A lot of adjusting in this exercise, just like in paint and, painting anything normal. I feel like maybe the side bridge of the nose. Be a little wider. All right. So I'm going about 30 minutes worth of work here. And I feel like I'm gonna stop here. I don't want this to go too long because I feel like you kind of get the general idea of this and hopefully the value of this. I'll still work on this and put up a end photo of what it looks like at the end. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like these longer videos like this where I'm demonstrating, I've been doing a little bit more of these lately. Please let me know in the comments section. If you have questions, I'll leave those in the comments section as well. I love seeing them. And if you would like to see what I'm painting on a daily basis, you can follow me on Instagram at Forza43. I'm Chris Fornatero here telling you to go get painting.